Peace and love, family. Welcome again to the weekly episode of U.S. Political Prisoners and You, brought to you by the most important channel on YouTube, Black Power Media. I'm Brother Frank, and before I allow my guests, my honored guests, and thank you for your time, I know the value of it, to come on and they'll introduce themselves, and I have some questions for them, as well as questions for myself that I'll be answered so that we can have a powerful, important discussion. I first and foremost want to talk about this fundraiser that the Coalition for the Virgin Island 3 had this past weekend. It was powerful, it was strong. You had different generations coming out. You had buttons that was for the Virgin Island 3. You had letters that was prepared, well, letters were papers that were arranged for people to write letters. Also, stamps were made available. I was able to write 3 of them. It was important because you seen different generations there present. So those who knew about the Virgin Island 3, they were there to show their support for them. Then you had another generation that was there who probably didn't know much about them, but now was being informed. You had a brother who came and spoke about the history of the Virgin Island, its relationship to the United States, and why the United States had an interest in it. And we all were informed again about what happened to the Virgin Island 3. One of their family members was there. I got his contact. I spoke to him. So that was good. So now I know that they were being informed about what's done for them. So major shout out to the Vital Shop. That's at 1030 Union Street. That's Brooklyn, New York. They showed us love and respect. I left at 9 o'clock because unfortunately I had to prepare for work the next day. People were still there enjoying themselves, enjoying the music. So that's just letting you know the power that we have when different generations come together. You know, July 4th is right around the corner, and there's going to be a mass movement demonstration to confront the 250 plus years of us fighting back, us having resistance. And that'll be another event that will be having different generations come together. So I'm going to read this flyer that's been given out. And the flyer says, in the spirit of Mandela Coalition, uniting Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples and progressive allies, help to bring charges of U.S. human rights abuses to an independent international tribunal. That 2021 tribunal and the current organizing for a grassroots-based People's Senate are led by elders of the Black Panther Party and the Black Liberation Movement, NAIM. We see ourselves as part of the lineage of those protecting what is sacred on this earth. We hope to build a coalition that can include everyone who aims to end all systems of dominance here in the belly of the beast. Finally and forever, the massive response to the call for no kings represents an important contribution to this process, and adding no colonies and no genocide will strengthen the movement. The Spirit of Mandela website, spiritofmandela.org, I'll put that up in a second, includes video excerpts of the educational 2021 tribunal testimonies that led the panel of international jurists to find the U.S. guilty of genocide against Black, Brown, and Indigenous peoples within its illegal borders. spiritofmandela.org International Tribunal. Today, our coalition is calling for a massive July 4th, 2026 mobilization in Atlanta to celebrate 250 plus years of people's resistance, 250 years of survival, 250 years of constructive movement building, 250 years of fighting for true independence and freedom. July 4th, 2026 in Atlanta will be a celebration of our legacies of resistance with poetry, music, dancing, vendors, inspiring speakers, and more. Join us. So to all my brothers and sisters in that area, please show up. All right, so I'll introduce my brother and my sister, Ariana. Please introduce yourself. Okay, I have to wait for her to come back on. So my brother, Bomani, please introduce yourself before I ask the first question, my brother.
Okay, free the land, revolutionary greetings. My name is Bomani Shakir. My name is Bomani Shakir. I'm a conscious New African citizen, a Republic of New Africa. I'm a New African propagandist, author, educator, a New African freedom fighter, and supporter catch a New African citizen and political prisoners. And I yield.
Thank you, my comrade. Ariana, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, apologies for the network issues. I couldn't hear for a second, but I'm Ariana. I'm usually based in Harlem. When I'm there, I'm doing political prisoner work, and right now I'm currently in Northern California and trying to get into some land stewardship work and learn some skills that go into how to take back the land.
Yes, thank
I
you. I appreciate. Oh, I'm sorry. You said you yield.
I yield.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate both of you. I appreciate your time because I know based on what you just said that you both are busy. So I definitely appreciate the time. But one thing that I want to put out there is that you both have the theory and you all both have the practice, and that's very important during this time that we live in. Right, we have content creators, we have more information than we need to make a decision about what we're going to do. So you have a situation where you're compiling information on top of information, but you both are actually involved in activities and actions, and you both represent different generations. And so this what why this episode is so important, because we're demonstrating how different generations see things, how different generations realize the importance of working together. And so that's what leads us to this discussion today, so that those who are listening can share this conversation with others, can learn from what was discussed, and be inspired to be more patient with each other and understand each other's value mutually. So what is the greatest benefit you have gained from working with another generation? I'll raise that first to Ariana. And state your age first, please.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm 22, so I feel like I'm pretty new into this work. I've only been in a lot of these spaces for the past few years, and yeah, the way that I kind of landed into supporting political prisoners is because I really didn't know what I was doing, but I knew that there were people that had come before me and were, foundations that I could jump off from. And yeah, the feelings that I was feeling, the thoughts that I was having, and the dreams that I was having about a world that I actually want to live in was not just my own. And so I feel like the greatest strength in working across generations um is to share strategy and is to share wisdom. And especially when this genocidal empire, one of its main uh ways of enacting its violence is by isolating that wisdom in the form of so many things, but especially prisons. Those are meant to separate communities, are meant to isolate wisdom, and are meant to you know silence that ancestral memory. And when you work with across generations, that's a direct attack against that. And that's extremely powerful to me and has given me a lot of clarity and guidance. And um yeah, I feel grateful for a lot of the teachers that I've had and have allowed me to both be a teacher and a student. Yeah, I yield with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I think that you said something that's very important. You said that, there were people out there that wanted a world like you. And before Bomani answers that question, I just want to give our viewers the definition of a political prisoner and a definition of a prisoner of war, because it's always important that we have that dialogue, that conversation, so anybody who's viewing it can walk away with some level of clarity about the definition of political prisoner. And this is the palm card that we're currently giving out for Curb Fest. We give them out to people, and on the back of it, it gives the definition of a political prisoner. So even if somebody decides that they're not coming to the Curb Fest, they still are becoming more conscious of this term political prisoner. So at another point in time, that when they reintroduce to that, then they have a different level of understanding about it. So political prisoner, a person who is held in confinement because of their support for people struggling for freedom from an oppressive government or against its oppressive policies, or participating in an organization involved in such a freedom struggle. As for a prisoner of war, a national combatant of an oppressed nation held in confinement by the oppressed nation because of their participation in an organization fighting for self-determination, independence, or national liberation from the oppressed nation, or for support of or identity with that struggle. So there you have it, political prisoner and prisoner of war. My brother Bomani, same question. What is the greatest benefit you have gained from working with another generation? And please state your age first.
Okay, I'm 45 years old. Um, The greater benefit I don't gain in regard to working with intergeneration is first thing is information, ideas, and concepts that youth have. Whereas the elders are more people that are there for wise counsel in regards to history, dates, and names that you can research and evaluate, right? So that's always a benefit. But also the benefit in regards to the network that everybody can receive. You can receive by building with each other and building with different generations. You establish a network. Like say for instance, if I come to New York, now I'm in tune with people in New York because that's where you at, because that's a network aspect. If you come to Georgia, you're in tune with me because that's a network aspect. So the basis of a lot of intergenerational is networking, organizing, and also the possibility that we actually come together as a thinking tank and establish ideas and concepts and ideology and a blueprint and a direction where we can actually free more political prisoners. We can do more action item, do more work. So that is some of the benefits to me in regards to the relationships. I feel like the relationship is strong with the benefit of everything. A relationship can last a lifetime. I take my Jegna and I take my parent Jegna. For instance, we had a relationship almost 14 years before he returned to the ancestors. You know, and I received a lot of information from him, from him being a former member of the Black Revolutionary Army, Black Panther Party, former New York political prisoner, so forth, so on. Right. So it's a great benefit. Now, yeah.
All right, thank you for sharing that with me, and I appreciate you just going back into those lessons, those experiences, because that is necessary for us to look at our journey and realize how did we come to this point. We realize that nobody is conscious without interaction with others who came before you, and so we show appreciation by being at the foot of those who came before us and learn from their mistakes and learn from their strengths as well as their weaknesses. I know with me being around Sekou Dinga, I learned that sometimes you could do more by saying less. I mean, that was what I identified with him. I learned the fact that you have to be very passionate and have a lot of patience with people that you're dealing with. You know that you're dealing with different people who have different personalities. Some people are more aggressive than others. Some people need to speak more louder than others, but you have to realize why you're there, why you're part of a formation, why you're part of a coalition, right? You realize that you're there because you're conscious. You're not there because you don't have nothing else to do. You realize that you're there because you want results. You want to do your best that you can to make sure that a political prisoner doesn't die in prison. Because I know from me doing this work, when a political prisoner dies in prison, I feel bad. I feel like I haven't done as much as I could have. I feel like I wasn't taking enough initiative to do things, because sometimes you have to take an initiative and then allow people to see what you're doing, so now they could relate to the particular action that you took. So my next question, this time I start off with Bomani. I'm the elder here, so it feels good that I'm 52. My brother's 45, and you're 21, right, sister? 22, yes. Good. So we're covering different areas, and I know that those who are viewing can put themselves in one of our categories, even though me and the brother is a little close in age. So my second question is, has there been any challenges working with another generation? And if so, what are they? That's for you, my
Well,
brother.
okay. Well, certain challenge is that, like for instance, like in the younger generation are more in tune to social media, the internet, things of that nature, right? Whereas the older generation are more in tune to like the old fashioned way, like snail mail and reading books and going to lectures, so forth and so on, right? So in regards to that, sometimes it pose an indifference or pose a form of neglect, but because we have to consider all aspects of people learning and development. So sometimes that pose it puts you at a certain form of interface in regard to relating to people, right? But also another thing is that I look at it like some people are set in their ways, right? And they're set in their ways, and that they're not willing to accept new ideas, new concepts, or actually see the potential in younger people that are actually leaders as well, right? And sometimes that developed to what we want to term as being gatekeeping. That people show favoritism because of your age or show favoritism part of your experience and things of that nature, right? So those are some of the things that I've experienced, and I yield.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. I know that me, one of the challenges that I faced, because you made me think about that, is that, coming across the elder that don't want to accept my ideas, feeling like that I haven't done enough work or enough time for my ideas to be accepted. But I realized that, during time in time, I would win over that elder to what I'm saying, but more because I'm showing them that I actually know what I'm talking about. So my sister, the same question.
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the main I feel like there's always just communication, different generations communicate differently, ideas are passed around differently, exactly like yeah, Bomani is saying. And I feel like I something that I'm always thinking about and having kind of tension with in working with elders is I always want to make sure that there's like a mutual respect, and sometimes it gets kind of hard for that to be true, and I don't want to just say yes to things just because someone is my elder. And I always want there to be respect and have respect, but I also want that respect to be reflected back to me. And yeah, it kind of goes back to that uh, teacher student thing. And I feel like there's so many things that people who have come from generations before me have to teach me, and I have so much to learn. And I also feel like maybe there's a couple of things that I can teach as well. And I feel like there's a tension that I run into with that. And um, an example of that I feel like often comes up with technology. Yeah, I feel like, kind of like Bomani is saying, younger people are more into the digital world. And um, I think that there's been a lot of thought in younger generation circles around, what are safe digital security practices. And there's, yeah, kind of, I feel like tension in trying to like communicate that and be on the same page. And um, I think I'll yield with that, but it's just about making sure that those lines of communication are open and that the baseline of them is respect. And yeah, and that we're just existing in respectful relationship to each other. But I yield with that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, you both had some very important and powerful input into that. And I think that from this discussion, there'd be an analysis that people who are viewing would take on. I know that, these challenges allow us to identify what we need to be doing more of. Like it has to be dual accountability because we are all equally important in this work to free political prisoners, amongst other things that we're striving for. And one of the beautiful things that I experienced from being around Sekou Denga, because he was about 20 plus years older than me, is that, he accepted my leadership when I exerted it, right? If I had an idea and I told him, I think that you should let me deal with that. He said, I think you're right. So he knew what position to take when it was time. None of us are going to be doing this work forever. We always have to identify somebody that's going to come after us to carry the work on. And I think that needs to be very important in our minds, in our personal development, as well as how we interact with one another. When we're talking, we should be thinking about that. We should be thinking about who's going to do what when I can't do this no more. And then what should that relationship be like? How should that relationship develop? And that comes through conversation. That comes through serious conversation, right? Preparing ourselves to hear things that we might not necessarily want to hear or even be comfortable with hearing. But we have to accept that role, accept that responsibility, because we want to make sure that people are comfortable around us. We want to make sure that people know their value, and we don't want to ignore their value. And even we have to tell people, you're extremely valuable to this work. I can't do this without people like you, and vice versa. So I think very important, serious, transparent dialogue is necessary and needed from one generation to the next. So how can different generations work better together, and why is it important? I'll let you answer that one, Ariana.
Yeah. The Do you mind repeating the question one more time?
Not a problem.
Network cut out just for a second.
Not a problem. I said, how can different generations work better together, and why is it important?
Yeah. I think that I feel like a lot of different things have to happen. I feel like there's, I take a lot of responsibility as a young person in uh building some spaces that, allow and allow my peers, my comrades to be around elders and like learn what that respect looks like and learn what that relationship looks like. Because I feel like some of, I think a tendency that I see in young people is, moving too fast and not studying, not listening, to what elders have to say, and of course not blindly. But I know that a bit of my work that I'm kind of always thinking about is like how can I yeah, bring people with me along to, learn um in this intergenerational way. And I think on the other side of things, I I hope that, generations that have come before me are kind of also carrying that responsibility in their circles as well. And um of course in a different way. Um but yeah, that's something that I have definitely done a lot in my work is, kind of uh orienting to the work with my comrades of my age and, establishing kind of a training ground. Maybe we're doing study circles, maybe we're doing dinners, maybe, we're picking up a lot of the manual legwork that uh maybe elders aren't able to do as much right now. And that's all, training to me and establishing this, relational way of orienting to the work intergenerationally.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that. It's very important that you explain how you see things, right? And it's important that you explain that to two people who are a lot older than you, because now we're demonstrating to our viewers how one generation can just relax and allow another generation to have the platform to be heard, to put out their ideas, and we internalize those ideas and realize that we have a place within those ideas. So I appreciate your contribution on that particular idea, or rather question. My brother Bomani, the same question: how can different generations work better together, and why is it important?
Okay, okay. The first thing, I actually agree with Sister Ariana when she said that it's about a mutual respect. Because if you don't respect somebody, how you expect to work with them if you don't respect them? You don't respect them. You don't honor their thoughts, their vision, their ideology, or their mind state, or their potential. That's another thing. Also, in regards to like when we're doing this work, we need to find out what's our actual forte, what's your skill set, and in midst of finding that, then you'll be better able to facilitate the particular area you work in. If it's defense, if it's education, if it's information, if it's you work on the internet, like the sister said in regard to the propagation. You got to find your skill set, and also like when we do looking at these different relationships, right? Looking at these relationships in intergenerational gaps, we got to come to an understanding that regardless of the person's age, anybody can be critiqued, and anybody can be anybody can receive counsel in regards to what they're doing, right? And it's all about the end of the day. It's all about the truth that you share and the truth that you have in regard to yourself, in regard to work, making the work happen, right? And I feel like the great importance of this is that not only we can we bridge those gaps, we can also change the condition that we're seeing in regards to people being their literacy rate. We can change their literacy rate. We can change the rate in regards to like people in their 40s and their 50s and their 60s that are somewhere illiterate to the internet. We can change that rate specifically as well. We can change the conditions in regard to the mindset, because now we're coming together to learn more about each other, to understand each other more, and see exactly what our commonalities is instead of our differences. And once we recognize that we got more commonality, we can attain better results in regard to work we're doing. If it's political prisoner work, if it's take back the land work, if it's reparation work, wherever it may be, if it's community organizing, we can do better once we understand what our strengths are and what our commonality is and what our common goal is. And I yield.
Thank you, brother. You said something that was very important. And I think that we really need to dig deeper into that as a people fighting for the freedom of our political prisoners. Is sharing each other's skills, right? I know that another generations, they are real savvy on the social media. So, they know things way more advanced than I do. And, I'm always, well, when I'm in their contact, I'm asking for assistance. I'm asking for support. So that puts me in a place of humility, and allows that generation to understand that, wow, they are in leadership. They are next in line. And I think that as they become elders and there's a new generation emerging, then they'll have that same level of responsibility, because technology is always advancing, and we have to keep up with it, because technology is brutal, meaning that it's going to keep advancing whether you catch up with it or not. I know me, I had a real problem with actually getting a cell phone, but then I had no choice because there was no more pay phones. So I had to fall in line with what was happening, the advancement of technology. So it wasn't about my personal feelings. It was about what was going on at this particular time. So my next question, and I'm going to ask my brother Bomani to answer this first. It says, what is your current organizing work, and what would you like from another generation regarding support?
Okay. My current project I'm working hard on right now is the campaign to free Adu Lugubah Shakir, who's a current New Era political prisoner that's been locked up almost 5 decades. Right now, we are asking for people to email his attorney support letters. The email is wisemanlawoffice@gmail.com. But not only just write the support letter, send support letter also to Governor Newsom over California. His email address is gavin.newsom@gov.ca.gov. And the reason for these support letters is that Brother Abdul is coming up for parole July the 16th, which is a couple of weeks, which is about 2 weeks away. He's coming up parole. And he came parole. See, the situation that he came parole last year. They granted him parole. Then they came back rescinding their parole due to certain things they were saying that that they didn't answer him the right question. They gave him parole by mistake, and he still have a radical ideology, and he still had the same radical ideology he had when he came in, and they're trying to say that he's participating in criminal acts, and his organization not community based, such as the Satellite Network that works on the aspect of find our missing new African men, women, and children, all protecting them. And also the Emergency Response Network that geared toward preparing ourselves for natural disasters. So we just asking people, we're not asking for any money, we're not asking for no resource. We just ask people to write support letters. And the support letters to show the state, show the governor that our dude has community support, the people in the community want him out here. His program have been beneficial to the people, and so forth, so on. That's basically what we're asking for the people for, right? And he wanted to contact me. You can contact me find me on Facebook, Buman Secure. Find me Instagram, New African Information Movement, as well on Facebook, New African Information Movement. Or you can email me at bumansecure80@gmail.com. Receive more information about Abdul. I can send you certain things that some of the program he did, some of his history, designs, literature, so forth, so on. The brother done wrote books. He done author thing. He done wrote business. You can find a lot of the books on Amazon. He don't put a lot of work in. He went in already political as a Black Panther Cub, as a member of the Black Liberation Army. He was already educated already. Once he got it inside, he continued that work. He continued to push forward. And the work begun at the age of 8. He's now 64 years old. So he actually been doing the work a long time. And I yield, and that's how I feel. That's my response. Peace.
All right, peace and love. Thank you, my brother. Appreciate your work and appreciate you reaching out to me to get some support. My sister Ariana.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm in a bit of a transition place right now since I just relocated to Northern California for a little bit to do some land work. But a few campaigns that I'm part of that are more based in Harlem. I'm about to uh, try to put together a fundraiser for new African political prisoner Kwame Bean Shakur. We're trying to raise some money, one for legal fees, but also to put some t-shirts out. Yeah, we got connected with a screen printer in New York, so we need to get some t-shirts and raise some money that way. Yeah, another campaign that I'm also part of is political prisoner Reverend Joy Powell. Her website is freejoypowell.org, and it just got updated, so that's pretty exciting. But she's also we're raising money always to for her legal fees as well. Bro Frank is also on that committee with me. Yeah, that's kind of the immediate asks that are in my circle right now. But also ask to other generations and people that I'm connected with is just like that we be in relationship with each other and that we be holding each other accountable with the work that we're doing. And I'm especially thinking about that a lot recently as I'm moving, or I've moved to California and am in a program that is pretty different than you know where I've come from, and I want to make sure that I'm having wisdom on what kind of knowledge there to leave and what kind of knowledge there to take and bring back into our communities to build things that we're actually interested in, and things that suffocate violent systems and build up systems that actually breathe life into people. So that's general ask, but I yield with that.
All right. Thank you for both. Thank you both for your time. I know the value of it, and this platform is always open to both of you. Continue to stay in touch with me and let me know what's happening. Let's stay tight. Let's understand that both generations need each other, and one generation is transitioning to the ancestry realm, and another generation is coming into being in terms of their position of leadership. And we have to support one another. We have to be patient with one another. We have to have grace, and we have to realize each other's value, right? We both have value, and we both are necessary in this struggle to free our political prisoners. So we'll end it with this. Don't let political prisoners die in prison. Don't let them be ignored. What's the call?
Free them all.
Free them all.
Free the land.
Peace and love,
Like
y'all.
Nina said. Peace.